You know, it's a funny thing how we don't really think about sleep until we start losing it. Most of us just assume we'll lie down, close our eyes, and drift off like we've been doing since we were kids. But then there's that one night you find yourself tossing and turning, staring at the ceiling, wondering why your body won't just let go. And maybe it's not just one night. Maybe it's been weeks or even months of sleepless nights, and it's starting to feel like a permanent part of your life. You wake up in the morning feeling like you didn't sleep at all. Your mind is foggy, your body feels heavy, and every little thing during the day feels just a bit harder than it should. I've seen it over and over again, and if you're here, I'm guessing you have too. Sleepless nights are not just about being tired. They mess with your mood, your focus, your relationships, your productivity, and even your health in ways you might not realize at first. And when we're stuck in that cycle, we start to feel desperate for a fix, for something, anything that will help us find healing sleep again. Not just sleep, but deep, restorative, body and mind refreshing sleep that leaves you waking up feeling like you can take on the day. That's what we're going to talk about today. How to break free from that cycle. How to move from restless nights to healing sleep. And how to restore your body and mind so you can feel like yourself again. Now, when I say healing sleep, I'm not talking about just knocking yourself out for 8 hours with sleeping pills and calling it good. I'm talking about the kind of sleep where your body goes through its natural cycles, repairing muscles, balancing hormones, cleaning out toxins in your brain, and calming your nervous system. Healing sleep is the body's reset button. Without it, everything else starts to crumble. Your immune system gets weaker, your memory gets fuzzy, your emotions get harder to handle, and your energy just isn't there. So if you've been living in that sleepless cycle, I want you to know that you're not alone, and you're not stuck there forever. There are real science-backed solutions that can help you get your sleep back. And we're going to walk through them together in a way that feels realistic and doable, even if your nights have been rough for a long time. I want you to imagine something with me for a moment. Imagine going to bed tonight, and instead of lying there with your mind racing or your body tense, you feel this gentle wave of calm wash over you. Your muscles loosen. Your breathing slows, your thoughts quiet down, almost like someone turned down the volume in your head. You drift off without even realizing it, and when you wake up in the morning, sunlight is peeking through your window and you actually feel refreshed. You feel light, clear, and ready. That's not a dream. That's what healing sleep can feel like. And yes, it's possible for you, even if it's been a while since you last experienced it. Over the years, I've worked with so many people who believe their sleepless nights were just part of getting older, or part of dealing with stress, or something they had to push through. But here's the truth. Your body is wired for sleep. It's built into your biology. And when we understand what's interfering with it and how to support our body's natural rhythms, we can create the conditions for sleep to return naturally. In the next parts of this talk, we're going to go deep into why sleeplessness happens, the hidden factors that might be stealing your rest, and the strategies, both lifestyle changes and specific sleep-promoting techniques, that can help you reclaim your nights. This isn't about chasing quick fixes or gimmicks. It's about building a foundation for lasting, healing sleep. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's start this journey together. Because the truth is, your best nights and your best days are still ahead of you. When we talk about sleepless nights, it's easy to blame them on the obvious things. Stress from work, a noisy environment, too much caffeine late in the day. And sure, those are part of the story, but what I want you to understand is that sleeplessness is rarely about just one single cause. More often, it's like a chain reaction in your body and mind where one thing goes off balance and starts pulling on everything else. Think of it like a web. Tug on one thread and suddenly the whole thing shifts. Maybe you have a stressful week at work and that raises your cortisol, the stress hormone that's supposed to be high during the day and low at night. But because you're stressed, your cortisol stays elevated when it's bedtime, making it harder for melatonin, your sleep hormone, to kick in. You lie in bed, your brain is still on high alert, scanning for problems, and your body isn't getting the chemical signal to switch into rest mode. That's one scenario. Another common pattern is when our sleep schedule gets disrupted. Maybe you travel across time zones, or you start staying up later scrolling on your phone, or you wake up earlier than usual because of work or kids. Your body has an internal clock, the circadian rhythm, that's incredibly sensitive to light, temperature, and timing cues. When you keep changing your sleep and wake times, that clock gets confused, and suddenly your body isn't sure when it's supposed to feel sleepy or alert. Then there's the hidden impact of lifestyle choices. Caffeine is the obvious one, but sugar, alcohol, heavy meals late at night, and even certain supplements or medications can either rev up your nervous system or mess with your sleep cycles. Alcohol, for example, might make you feel drowsy at first, but it actually disrupts your REM sleep later in the night, leading to shallow, less restorative rest. And let's not forget the role of light, especially the blue light from screens. Your brain is wired to take its cues from natural sunlight, so when you spend the evening bathed in blue light from your phone or TV, your brain thinks it's still daytime. That means it holds back on producing melatonin, and even if you feel tired, your body isn't chemically ready to sleep deeply. But sleeplessness isn't just about habits. It's also about how our nervous system responds to life. Many people with chronic sleepless nights have what we call a hyperarousal state, where the body is basically stuck in fight or flight mode. This is great if you're running from danger, but terrible if you're trying to sleep. Your heart rate might be slightly elevated, your muscles tense, your breathing shallow, and your brain on constant alert. That's why even when you finally drift off, you might wake up after a few hours and find yourself wide awake again. Now here's the tricky part. Once this sleepless pattern starts, your body and mind can adapt to it in the worst possible way. You start to expect that you'll have trouble sleeping, and that expectation itself becomes a form of stress. It's like your brain starts watching the clock at night. You're counting down the hours you have left until morning, and the anxiety around not sleeping actually keeps you awake. This is why healing sleep can't just be about telling yourself to relax or stop thinking so much. We have to work with the body's biology, not against it. Healing sleep happens when your nervous system is calm, your circadian rhythm is aligned, and your sleep cycles are allowed to run their course without constant interruptions. When you sleep deeply, your body moves through different stages: light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. Each stage serves a purpose. Deep sleep is when your body repairs tissues, builds bone and muscle, and strengthens the immune system. REM sleep is when your brain processes emotions, consolidates memories, and supports creative thinking. Without enough of each stage, you might technically get enough hours in bed, but still wake up feeling drained. This is why just lying in bed for 8 hours doesn't guarantee healing sleep. If your sleep cycles are broken up, if you're waking up too often, or if your nervous system never really powers down, your body misses out on that full repair process. And here's something most people don't realize. Healing sleep actually begins before you even get into bed. The way you spend your day affects your night. The amount of sunlight you get in the morning, how much you move your body, what and when you eat, how you handle stress. All of these things set the stage for how easily you can fall asleep and how deeply you can stay asleep. For example, getting bright natural light in your eyes within an hour of waking helps anchor your circadian rhythm, signaling to your body when to be alert and when to wind down. Exercise can help promote deeper sleep, but the timing matters. Working out too close to bedtime can keep your body temperature and heart rate elevated, making it harder to drift off. Food plays a role too. Large, heavy meals late at night force your digestive system to keep working when it should be slowing down. And certain foods can even trigger heartburn that wakes you up in the middle of the night. All of these factors are pieces of the puzzle. And when you start to put them together in the right way, your body begins to remember how to sleep. It's almost like clearing the static off a radio station. Suddenly the signal comes in clear, and your body's natural sleep process flows the way it's meant to. In the next sections, we'll dive into how to actually create those conditions for healing sleep, step by step, so you can turn sleepless nights into restorative rest. But before we get there, I want you to really take this in. Sleeplessness is not your identity. It's not permanent, and it's not a life sentence. It's a sign that your body needs help finding its balance again. And that balance is something you can absolutely restore. If you want to move from sleepless nights to true healing sleep, one of the most powerful things you can do is get your body's natural rhythm back on track. Your circadian rhythm is like the conductor of your body's internal orchestra. It tells every system when to be active and when to rest, when to release certain hormones, when to digest food, and yes, when to sleep. But here's the thing. This rhythm isn't just about what time you go to bed. It's influenced by light, temperature, food timing, activity, and even your social interactions. When your circadian rhythm is in sync, falling asleep becomes almost effortless, and staying asleep is far more likely. The first step is to anchor your day with consistent wake-up times. And I know, if you've had a rough night, the temptation is to sleep in to catch up, but that actually confuses your internal clock. What you want to do instead is pick a wake-up time you can stick to every day, even on weekends, and let your body adapt. Over time, your system starts predicting when it should release wake-up hormones like cortisol and when to let melatonin take over at night. Then there's light exposure. Morning light is like flipping the on switch for your day. Within an hour of waking, try to get outside for at least 10 to 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be sunny. Natural daylight, even on a cloudy morning, is still far more powerful for your circadian rhythm than indoor lighting. That light hits special receptors in your eyes and sends a signal to your brain that says, "Hey, it's daytime, let's get moving." In the evening, you want the opposite effect. Dim lights, softer tones, and especially reducing blue light from screens. I always tell people, think of your evening environment like a campfire. Humans evolved to wind down under the warm, dim light of fire, not the harsh brightness of LED screens. You can use warm-colored bulbs, candles, or even a dim lamp to create that signal for your brain that it's time to slow down. Temperature plays a role too. Your body naturally drops in core temperature at night, and that cooling triggers the onset of sleep. You can help this along by keeping your bedroom slightly cooler. Around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit works for most people, and using breathable bedding. Taking a warm shower an hour before bed might sound like it would heat you up, but actually, the drop in temperature afterward signals your body that it's time to sleep. Now, let's talk about activity. Movement during the day is one of the best ways to improve sleep quality, but the timing matters. Exercise in the morning or afternoon works beautifully to deepen sleep at night. But doing intense workouts late in the evening can keep your nervous system revved up. If evenings are your only option, stick to gentler forms of movement, yoga, stretching, or a light walk. Your eating schedule also communicates with your circadian rhythm. When you eat late at night, your body stays in digestion mode instead of rest mode. Ideally, you want your last substantial meal to be 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. If you're hungry later, keep it light. Something like a small handful of nuts or a piece of fruit can satisfy without disrupting sleep. Another often overlooked factor is your mental wind-down routine. We live in such a constant state of stimulation, emails, texts, news alerts, that our brains rarely get the message that it's safe to switch off. Creating a pre-sleep ritual is incredibly effective. This could be as simple as making a cup of herbal tea, reading a few pages of a light book, or listening to calming music. The key is to do it in the same order every night, so your body learns to associate those actions with sleep. Some people like to add breathing exercises or progressive muscle relaxation, both of which help shift your nervous system from fight or flight mode into rest and digest mode. If you're dealing with sleeplessness, one of the best things you can do is give yourself a true transition period between your busy day and the moment you close your eyes. I know a lot of people think they can go from watching an action-packed TV show or scrolling through social media to sleeping in a matter of minutes. But for most of us, that's like trying to slam on the brakes while driving at 80 miles an hour. It's not going to be smooth. And finally, consistency is everything. The body loves routine. The more regular your sleep and wake times, the more your body learns to release the right hormones at the right times. This is why shift work and frequent travel can be so disruptive to sleep. It constantly forces the body to adjust, and that adjustment period often comes with nights of poor rest. But when you live in sync with your natural rhythm, healing sleep becomes the default. Your body doesn't have to fight for it, it just happens. And when that happens, you start noticing changes in your energy, mood, focus, and even your appetite. It's like the pieces of your health puzzle finally start fitting together. Now that we've covered how to rebuild your circadian rhythm and create the right conditions for healing sleep, in the next part, we'll dig into what you can do when you're actually in bed. How to quiet the mind, release physical tension, and allow your body to drift naturally into deep restorative rest. Because setting the stage is one thing, but learning how to let go in the moment is just as important. So now you've done the work during the day, you've anchored your wake time, gotten your morning light, moved your body, eaten at the right times, and created that evening wind down. But then comes the moment of truth. You're actually in bed. The lights are out, and it's time to fall asleep. For many people dealing with sleepless nights, this is where things start to go sideways. You lie there in the quiet, and instead of feeling peaceful, your mind kicks into overdrive. You start replaying conversations from the day, thinking about tomorrow's to-do list, worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. Or maybe it's not your thoughts. It's your body. You notice tension in your shoulders, tightness in your jaw, your legs restless. And the harder you try to force yourself to sleep, the more awake you feel. This is where techniques that bring both your mind and body into a state of relaxation are absolutely essential. One of my go-to methods is something called breath anchoring. The idea is to use your breath as the focal point that pulls your attention away from racing thoughts. You start by simply noticing your breathing. Don't try to change it yet, just observe. Feel the cool air coming in through your nose, the warm air leaving through your mouth. Then begin to slow it down. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a moment, and exhale for a count of 6. That longer exhale is a signal to your nervous system to calm down. If you keep this up for a few minutes, you'll often feel your muscles start to soften, your heartbeat slow, and your mind quiet down. Another powerful approach is progressive muscle relaxation. You start at your toes and work your way up, tensing each muscle group for a few seconds and then releasing. So you might curl your toes tightly, hold, then let go. Flex your calves, hold, then release. By the time you get to your shoulders and neck, you'll feel this wave of looseness spreading through your whole body. It's almost like telling your brain, it's safe to let go now. Visualization can also be a game changer. Instead of lying there stuck in your thoughts, you give your mind a gentle story to follow. Imagine yourself on a quiet beach at sunset, feeling the warm sand under you, hearing the slow rhythm of the waves. Or picture yourself in a cabin in the woods, curled up by a fire with a blanket, the crackle of the wood lulling you into calm. Your brain can't focus on stressful thoughts and peaceful imagery at the same time, so you're essentially redirecting your mental energy toward rest. Now here's something a lot of people overlook. How you relate to the act of falling asleep matters. If you approach bedtime with dread, thinking, here we go again, another night of tossing and turning, you're priming your body for anxiety before you even get into bed. Instead, shift your mindset to curiosity and acceptance. Tell yourself, I'm going to rest now. Whether I fall asleep quickly or slowly, I'm still giving my body a chance to recharge. This takes the pressure off and often helps you drift off faster. And if you find yourself awake in the middle of the night, staring at the clock, my advice is to resist the urge to fight it. Watching the minutes tick by only ramps up stress. If you've been lying awake for more than 20 minutes, get up, go to a dimly lit space, and do something calming. Read a few pages of a light book, listen to soft music, or do some gentle stretching. Once you start feeling sleepy again, head back to bed. This keeps your brain from associating your bed with wakefulness. Speaking of your bed, it should be a place your body instantly associates with rest. That means using it only for sleep and intimacy, not for work, scrolling, or watching intense TV. Over time, this builds a strong mental link between lying down and falling asleep. Sound can also play a role in easing you into healing sleep. Some people find white noise, nature sounds, or soft instrumental music helps mask disruptive noises and create a consistent background environment. The trick is to choose something that doesn't engage your mind too much. No lyrics, no sudden changes in volume. And let's not underestimate the role of touch and comfort. A supportive mattress, the right pillow height for your neck, breathable sheets, all these small details add up. If your body is physically uncomfortable, it's going to be harder to relax, no matter how many breathing exercises you do. For people who struggle with feeling too hot or too cold, layering blankets so you can adjust easily through the night can make a big difference. And finally, be patient with yourself. If you've been dealing with sleeplessness for a while, your body and mind need time to relearn how to slip into that natural rhythm. Every night you practice these techniques, you're strengthening the pathway toward healing sleep. Some nights will be better than others, and that's okay. What matters is the trend over time. The gradual shift from restless nights to restorative ones. Because once you start experiencing that deep, healing rest on a regular basis, everything in your waking life starts to improve. You think more clearly, your mood is steadier, your energy is consistent, and even your immune system gets stronger. It's not an exaggeration to say that healing sleep can transform your life from the inside out. Here's the thing about healing sleep. It's not just something you fix once and then never think about again. Sleep is like a garden. It needs ongoing care. You can plant the seeds, you can water them, but if you stop tending to it, weeds will grow back. And in the case of sleep, those weeds might look like old habits creeping in, stress piling up again, or life changes that throw off your rhythm. So the goal here is not just to get a few good nights of rest, but to build a way of living that keeps sleepless nights from becoming a regular visitor in your life again. The first and most important thing to remember is that your circadian rhythm thrives on consistency. You've probably heard me say it before, but I'll repeat it because it matters that much. Keep your wake-up time steady, even after a bad night. Yes, it's tempting to hit snooze, to stay in bed just a little longer after tossing and turning, but doing that resets your body clock in the wrong direction. Waking up at the same time every day is like telling your body, this is when we start. And your body responds by preparing you to sleep at the right time the next night. Another key piece is protecting your wind-down routine. When life gets busy, the first thing we tend to sacrifice is our evening calm. We push work later, we answer messages at all hours, we watch just one more episode, and suddenly it's midnight before we even think about sleep. This is how sleepless nights sneak back in. So think of your wind down as non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth or eating dinner. You don't skip those because you're busy, right? Treat your evening ritual with the same level of commitment. That could mean dimming the lights, making a cup of tea, reading, journaling, or doing some gentle stretches. The key is to make it consistent enough that your body starts associating those actions with the feeling of it's time to rest. Stress management is also huge here. Life isn't going to stop throwing challenges at you, so the way you handle stress will directly affect your sleep. That might mean daily walks, meditation, prayer, journaling, deep breathing. Whatever tools help you keep your nervous system from running in high gear all the time. Because if you let stress accumulate day after day, it's going to spill over into your nights. Pay attention to your environment as well. Seasons change, schedules change, and sometimes our bedroom setup needs adjustments. In the summer, you might need lighter bedding or blackout curtains to block early sunrise. In the winter, maybe a weighted blanket makes you feel cozier and calmer. Little tweaks like these can keep your sleep space aligned with your needs throughout the year. Food and drink habits are another area to watch over time. You might have cut back on caffeine to fix your sleep initially, but it's easy to let that afternoon coffee or that late-night dessert sneak back in. Remember that your sensitivity to these things doesn't really go away. It's just that good habits keep their impact minimal. If you want to maintain healing sleep, be mindful of when and how much caffeine, sugar, and alcohol you consume. And listen, sometimes you will have nights when sleep just doesn't happen easily. Maybe you're traveling, maybe you have a big event the next day, maybe something's weighing heavily on your mind. That's normal. The difference now is that you don't spiral into panic or fall back into sleeplessness patterns. You already know what works. You get up at your usual time, you stick to your routine, you use your calming techniques at night, and you trust that your body will find its rhythm again. One thing I love to recommend for long-term sleep health is keeping a sleep journal. This doesn't have to be complicated. You just jot down your bedtime, wake time, how you felt in the morning, and anything notable from the day that might have affected your rest. Over time, patterns will emerge and you'll notice what supports your healing sleep and what tends to disrupt it. This awareness makes it much easier to course correct before sleeplessness becomes a real problem again. Social habits also matter more than people realize. If your friends or family regularly keep you out late, or your social activities always involve heavy meals or late drinks, you might need to adjust how often you participate, or at least how you manage the aftermath. I'm not saying you can never have a fun night out. Life's too short for that. But be intentional about how you balance those moments with your overall sleep health. And here's something people often underestimate. Movement and natural light are not just fixes for sleeplessness. They're ongoing maintenance tools. Even once your sleep improves, keep getting that morning light. Keep moving your body daily. Keep giving your brain the signal that it's time to be alert during the day and time to wind down at night. Because the moment you stop, your body's internal clock can start drifting again. Finally, think about sleep as part of your identity. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who used to have trouble sleeping, start seeing yourself as someone who protects their rest. That shift makes it easier to make decisions in line with your sleep health. You're no longer trying to fix a problem. You're simply living in a way that supports the restorative healing sleep your body craves. And when you do that, not only do you keep sleepless nights at bay, but you also set yourself up for better focus, better moods, and better health across the board. In the last part of this talk, we'll bring everything together: how healing sleep works as the foundation for your overall well-being, and how you can start feeling the benefits in every area of your life, starting now. When you really think about it, healing sleep isn't just about getting through the night. It's about reclaiming your days. It's about waking up feeling like you actually have energy to do the things you want, showing up for the people you care about, and having the clarity and calm to handle whatever comes your way. Sleepless nights steal more than rest. They steal presence, patience, and sometimes even joy. But what we've talked about today is proof that you can take that back. You've seen how your body is designed to sleep, how your circadian rhythm works like a built-in clock, how your nervous system needs signals to shift from alertness into deep rest. You've learned ways to prepare during the day, how to set the stage in the evening, and what to do when you're in bed, so you're not wrestling with your own thoughts or tension. You've also learned how to protect that progress so sleepless nights don't creep back in and undo all your work. The truth is, this isn't about perfection. You're going to have nights that aren't ideal. Maybe you're traveling, maybe you're stressed, maybe life just gets noisy for a while. That's normal. The win is that now you have tools, awareness, and habits that give you control again. You're no longer at the mercy of sleeplessness. You're steering your own rhythm, and that's powerful. Imagine a few weeks from now, looking back and realizing you're not thinking about sleep as much because it's happening naturally. You're falling asleep without the struggle, you're staying asleep without waking up in the middle of the night, and you're waking in the morning without dread. That's healing sleep. That's your body doing what it's meant to do. And here's the thing. It's not just about feeling good when you wake up. Healing sleep is the foundation for your immune system, your metabolism, your mood, your focus, and your long-term health. It's the nightly reset your body depends on to keep everything else working the way it should. You take care of your sleep, and your sleep will take care of you. So if you're listening to this and you've been stuck in the cycle of sleepless nights, I want you to know it's never too late to change. It doesn't matter if you've been dealing with this for weeks, months, or even years. Your body still knows how to sleep. You just have to create the right conditions for it to remember. Start small if you need to. Pick one thing from what we've talked about today and make it part of your daily routine. Then add another and another. These small changes build on each other until one day you realize you've built a whole new way of living. One that supports the deep, restorative rest you deserve. And when you get there, you'll wonder how you ever accepted sleeplessness as your normal. I'm genuinely excited for you because I've seen what happens when people commit to healing their sleep. They're more patient with their kids. They're sharper at work. They start new hobbies because they have energy again. They laugh more. They enjoy life in a way that's hard to do when you're running on empty. That's what I want for you. And if this conversation has given you even one thing you can try tonight, then it's a step in the right direction. Remember, you don't have to fix everything all at once. Just start and let the process unfold. If you found this video helpful, take a moment to like it so more people who are struggling with sleepless nights can find these solutions. Share it with someone you know who's been saying they can't sleep. They might need to hear this today. And if you want more science-backed, real-world health advice like this, make sure you subscribe to our channel, The Daily Health Shift, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Sleep well tonight, and I'll see you in the next video.